good morning.
Hi, good morning.
All right. Just before we pushed play,
Mm-hmm.
you said, I think I just
I
read my favorite definition of love. I said, save it for the podcast.
You
Let's.
did because I was scrolling my phone, just waiting.
Nice.
How are your headphones though? Do we
They're
have any?
terrible. I'm in a,
Okay.
listen, budget production. I'm making do. I do need to get some different ones because these headphones give me tinnitus. And so
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
it's just
hearing
like
it.
a
I feel bad
underlying
for I
the
feel
whole
bad that you
time.
have to listen to that for
I'm
an
like,
hour.
is that, oh, nope,
And you're
it's the
s-
headphones. Yeah. I'm good.
All right, all right. Yeah, so I was just scrolling. I follow a lot. Most of what I follow on social media is like poetry and psychology. So I came across this. I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
Curious what you think. But I was like,
Okay.
oh, I like this definition of love. This is a good one. Okay. I hold this to be the highest task of a bond between two people, that each should stand guard over the solitude of the other. Rainer Marie Wilkie is who wrote that. And I love that.
I also love that. It reminds me of kind of our protective nature that we have,
Mhm.
where our goal is to just try to prevent suffering from others, or I think we talked about this in the last episode, curate our
Mhm.
words in a way that they can be received by the other
Yes.
person without pain.
Yes. Yes. So I think about that like um I never like to wake a sleeping person. So like if somebody is resting, um I feel like that needs to be guarded or protected, you know? So like I remember like when my kids were babies, I was like, shh, don't wake the baby. One, because it's obviously a lot of work to take care of babies when they're awake. Some
Yeah.
of it definitely is selfish. But like I'm still that way. I'm still that way with John. I'm like that with the kids. I'm like we're definitely a sleep positive home. Like if your body needs rest, I'm gonna tell you to go take a nap. I'm gonna tell you to make space for sleep, for rest. I try to nap almost every day. So
You're
uh
literally always napping.
I love sleep. Yeah. It's my favorite thing ever.
That is a skill that you have that I don't. I am not
Yeah.
I'm not a good
Yeah.
sleeper. I've never napped as an adult. The only time I ever fall asleep is if I'm
Mhm.
sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a couple friends who like just can't nap at all.
It's a great
And
indicator to me though that I'm getting sick. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, is it allergies? And then if I take a nap, I'm like, okay, this
mhm.
is it's about to turn
Yeah.
to something very unpleasant. Get ready.
Okay, so some people nap to kind of recharge their battery, you know, in the middle of the day. Do you have a moment of solitude that you like to take during the day where you just kind of lay down maybe and rest your eyes, rest your body, where you're not sleeping, but you're or sitting and not consuming anything, like just solitude? Or how do you recharge in the day if you can't nap?
I am not a layer downer. Let's
Hmm.
put it that way. I
Okay.
This might sound counterintuitive, but I recharge by going and doing something physical. Like I normally if I'm suffering exhaustion, it is
Hmm.
mental fatigue. It has just
Hmm.
been like I'm overwhelmed by something, I'm overstimulated by something. Like it is typically a mental
Hmm.
exhaustion. And so if I can go do something where I can turn my brain off and just get my body moving, that
Yeah.
tends to be a little bit better. So I like a walk is a really good recharge for me.
Yeah.
Getting away from noise
Hmm.
and walk is really good. So if I'm walking, I'm not listening to like a podcast
Anything.
or
Yeah.
anything. If a walk and talk with somebody can help if it's no longer the subject matter that was stressing me out. Like if we had a stressful meeting
Yeah.
and then we go outside and we walk and we just keep talking about the
Talking
meeting,
about
that
the
doesn't always
meeting.
help.
Yeah. Right.
Stop. I'm so tired of it. The other
Yeah.
day you called me though. I had just woken up and you called me and you were like telling me a story about one of your friends and it was like the most triggering
Oh
topic.
God. I don't
I
even
was
know.
like, so you started telling me and I was just like, what the fuck? And so my anxiety started to go, and I'm like, why am I so anxious? Like, I was like driving to school after that. I'm like, why am
Yeah.
I so anxious? And I was like, oh, it's because like within the first 5 minutes of me being awake,
Mhm.
we had this conversation about,
Oh,
and I was just like,
yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I can't,
Because I
like,
was on my way
so
to
much.
work,
Yeah,
and
you
I'm 2
were.
hours ahead of you, so I didn't even think about the fact honest I didn't even think about the fact that it was, like, waking you up. I was just like, "Oh, I gotta call her," because I hadn't talked to you. Because really, I hadn't had a chance to really connect with you. I had, like, all these stories. I was like, "Oh, I wanna talk about this.
Yeah,
I got an hour drive. I'm just gonna call her." But I didn't think about the fact that it was, like, 6 in the morning for you, so you hadn't maybe even started
yeah.
moving around yet or anything. I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that.
No, don't apologize. I'm just telling you, I had to like figure it out because I was
Yeah.
literally driving and I was like, why am I so anxious? Like, I feel so anxious today. And so I went back through like what happened this morning because I woke up in a good mood and I was like, that bitch, she called, she literally was like, here's a
I
panic
s
attack for the morning. Where I
I
was just like,
sabotaged your morning.
I didn't even
You're
have coffee
welcome.
yet.
Hey, makes you feel alive. Get that adrenaline going, just,
Yeah. That was actually a morning where I had started one of my, like, normal learning nerd podcasts,
Mhm.
but the anxiety feeling and I was just like, "Is it what I'm listening to? Like, what's going on?" I really had to
Yeah.
self-reflect, and then once I realized what it was, I was like, "Okay, we're not listening to any of this. We're gonna put music on," and so I
Music, yeah.
actually put, like, probably the most boring music to drive to, and
That's
so
what you need to do, yeah, that's
I have a
smart.
playlist that's literally, like, film scores. So
Mhm.
it's just all of the music from,
Same.
like, the Pirates of the Caribbean, like, all these movies that you've ever
Yeah.
seen,
Oh
and
my
I've shared
gosh,
with
this
you the
is
Interstellar movie soundtrack is, like, one of my
yes.
favorites. No,
I
Oblivion.
actually
The
I
Oblivion movie soundtrack.
I actually listen to that now when I'm working sometimes,
Oh,
like,
how fun.
because
Yeah.
it's so good, yeah. I was just actually, this just made me think, like, we should make a Spotify podcast playlist, and we'll just add stuff that we like and people wanna follow our playlist.
Oh,
They
I
can
love that idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just
Yeah.
do, yeah, our just songs or whatever that are speaking to us or
Yeah.
make us feel some kinda way, we'll put it up.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just
I
put them
love
on
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to do, like, music therapy to
Mhm.
myself to, like,
Mhm.
get myself grounded, because I was in clinic and I don't one of my biggest fears with massage therapy is, um, something I'm trying to be more mindful of in general, which is, this is gonna be where I sound really woo-woo to our listeners, but it's factual, right? We already know. Um, I'll put it in the less woo-woo, um, tense. One bad apple can ruin the bunch, right? If you have a group
Mhm.
of people and one person is super negative, the whole rest of the group can kind of just get brought down by that.
Right. Right.
The same thing kind of happens with our energy. Like you can get like good vibes of like, hey, that
Mhm.
person seems like they're cheerful and having a good day, or you can just tell when someone's irritated or not quite there, kind of tuned out.
Mhm.
Um, so something that I'm trying to practice specifically when doing a massage because I'm physically touching you, like my
Mhm.
energy, my literal energy and body vibrations are being conducted into your body. And so
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to be very conscientious about the energy that I'm bringing into that room, and what I'm putting onto that client, and then
Mhm.
also like what am I taking out of that client, right? If they
Yeah.
have negative energy, how do I protect
Yeah.
myself from that? So that's been a really fun observation and practice as well because I don't want people are coming to me to relax, and if I'm an
Mhm.
anxious mess and
Mhm.
they know that, they're not gonna have a great experience, so I wanna
Yeah.
just
I honestly think this goes, like, connects perfectly to the first thing we talked about, which is, like, protecting the solitude of another person,
Yeah,
right?
yes, 100%.
I think that is the best way we show people love and care, is being mindful of our own energy and, like, doing what we can to manage it, so we're not leaking it onto everybody like I did when I called you that morning.
It was like a third party trauma dump. I was like, "This isn't even about you," and I'm literally so anxious. It's like
Oh.
have you ever watched Yes, everyone's ever watched. You're watching a movie and, like, you know something bad is gonna happen, but, like, they just drag it on so you're just like,
Yeah,
"Just
you're
happen
in
already!" Like, you get in that, like,
yeah.
suspenseful
Mhm.
and it
Yeah,
just
like
carries you for however long. That's how the story you were telling me the story, and I was just like I recognized immediately because I have rocking chairs on my porch. I don't
Mhm,
enjoy rocking. Like, I like to just sit and be able to lean back, but I'm not
mhm.
like an active but I was actively like,
Rock
why am I doing this?"
Okay, so this reminds me, of the movie that you recommended to me and John, which was Uncut Gems,
Oh.
and that movie, I feel like was just sitting. It was just this
Oh,
anticipation it was the feeling of anticipation of the disaster. Like, you're
I
just
couldn't
it's
sit
like
down. I physically we were
yeah.
in bed. I got out of
Mhm.
the bed, I was standing next to it, and I was just like, "What's
Yeah.
gonna happen?" It was crazy. I loved
It
it. It
was
was so stressful.
so if you want a lot of
Yeah.
adrenaline, if you just want the feeling of impending doom, just watch that movie.
That movie was literally like the perfect way to get those up. Sometimes you watch movies and you're like, "Oh, this," you can get the theme of the movie. This is trying
Mhm.
to make me scared. This is trying to make me feel suspenseful. This is trying to make me sad, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I like to challenge all of them.
Mhm.
The suspense ones I can't push back against because I'm just like,
You're just anxious about
"Oh
it, yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
it's
Right,
happening."
right.
When it's sad, I'm like, it's not that sad."
Mhm, mhm.
I try to really I'm getting better actually now. I'm trying not to fight it. I'm like,
You're not trying to be the
I'm
annoying
gonna
person
let
watching the
myself be
movie.
real sad right now. Listen, so I made you watch the Penguin documentary
I
on
did.
Netflix, right?
Yeah. What was that one called? The pangolin,
Oh my gosh, what was
documentary?
his name? It was like Kulu or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever it was. Pangolin documentary,
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. You
Anybody wants
won't
to watch
regret
it.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, for some reason, my octopus teacher was the other one, and then I was like,
Mhm.
this really reminded me of my octopus teacher, and I found
Yeah.
out it's the same director. So I was like, oh,
Right.
anything he
Yeah.
puts out now, I'm watching it because it is
Right.
pulls you into this animal's story in a way that you're like, this is my baby now. Like
Mhm.
all I want in this world is for this baby of mine that I'm
Mhm.
watching on TV to like succeed at life, right?
Yeah.
And so
Right.
it pulls at you in a way where you're like, I am crying about an animal's life story that I have never met, and then I just watched 12 hours of true crime documentary and didn't feel
And
an
don't
ounce of anything. Like, what is wrong with me?
nothing. I think that's actually super healthy. I have a lot of people who, like animals way more than they like humans. I think most
Yeah.
people like
There's
animals
something
way more.
about just, like, the fragility of them, though. It's like old people, babies, and
Yeah.
animals, you're
There
like,
it's the
they
innocence, you
need
know?
they really
Yeah.
do pull us in a way that they,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm gonna look up the
I think, animals and kids, like, and, it draws us into, I think, a lot of times the parts of ourselves that we oh, there you go.
Hulu's
Pangolin
Journey.
Hulu's Journey, there you go.
You won't be
It's re
disappointed.
it is really good.
That's our recommendation.
I think they pull us into the parts of ourselves a lot of times that we reject as we age, like curiosity and playfulness and, presence, like full presence. And so when we're watching it, we're watching these animals learn and fail and keep getting up and trying again and being playful and being curious and I think we resonate with that. It kind of mirrors back to us that inner child where we're like, "Oh
Oh,
man, I remember being curious and playful and now I'm cynical and old."
yes. Oh, man. And, I think that one of the things that makes me, sad when I'm watching them,
Mhm.
it's really inspiring, I think would be the word, right?
Yeah.
Is the amount of grace that we give these animals, right? Or
Mhm.
babies, you see them trying to figure things out and you're just like, wow, they're not getting it right, but they're so smart and they're going to get it right.
Mhm.
But then we see an adult struggling with the problem and we don't extend that same level of like empathy or grace to them. We're just
Yeah.
like,
What
come
an
on, you went to
idiot.
school. Get your shit together, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's so sad. But it's a good reminder that there's a lot of things in life that we don't know. There's so much
Mhm.
information out there.
Yeah.
Here's a good here. Now it's a side quest story.
I love side quests.
Things that we didn't know as adults. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll each tell
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Then we'll get into
Mhm.
our actual episode.
Okay.
Okay, so several years ago, I was dating someone, and some friends of mine sent me this like a joke, right? Which I didn't get the joke
Mhm.
because it was like the United States, and then it had all these like countries in the United States, and everyone was like, ha ha ha. And I was like, I don't get the joke. And he's like, what do
Mhm.
you mean you don't get it? Like, because the map this shows these countries even bigger, but in reality, they're like they could fit into the state of Texas, whatever. And I was like, what do you mean the map isn't
Real.
real? Just and they're like, yeah, they had to like stretch them. They're all like stretched out so they'd fit on a rectangle because the earth is
Yeah.
round. He's like, but if you look at the one that's like the round shapes, the spherical shapes, like
The
that's the more
globe.
of the
Yeah.
true size. And I was like, in school, we're literally learning off of the map that's like a lie. And so I was immediately like, what else did the map
What else
say?
are they
So
lying about?
I haven't really taken a deep dive at the world map, right? I'm pretty familiar with the United States.
Mhm.
Anywhere I've wanted to travel to, I like look it up on Google Maps and I
Yeah.
can check out the area. But like taking it in as a whole and
Yeah.
geography,
Yeah.
haven't really studied since high school. Okay, I'm in my 40s.
This
And
is this knowledge of the map and its
listen,
proportions, the proportions of the countries, etc. You taking this deep dive, I just want to caution you. I'm pretty sure this is the pathway to flat Earth. I think.
no,
I
it is
think.
not. Here's where I went though. I started looking at I was like, "Oh, let me see what other so you can like drag
Yeah.
countries
Right.
into like you can find this map that's like true size map or I don't know what
Yeah.
it's called.
Yeah.
This was like 6 years ago. But you can like take a country, you can like drag it onto the United States because obviously
Mhm.
we only can compare against what we know and that's our own
Yeah. Yeah.
lands.
Right. 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 Right.
Which good luck if you can successfully fill out all 50 states on a map. You're really smart. I
Yeah.
don't have the
Super
memory capacity
smart.
for that either.
I am not a
But
cartographer. I will not be
I
doing that.
I found okay, so somehow during this conversation or closely after that, okay, because I also don't have great memory as in exactly when something happened, but
Right.
I thought Nova Scotia, which is Canada's right here, and then there's a
Mhm.
tiny little island right there, right? It's
Mhm.
Nova Scotia. I thought that
Yeah.
was the fucking UK. I thought that was London. I thought that was
Yeah.
I had no idea where the UK actually was like
Yeah.
way over because I was
Way
like
the other
across
side.
the pond. So it's clearly a short jump.
Yeah,
And
it's just
Canada
a little.
speaks, they're like British, whatever,
Yeah.
British Columbia. I was like,
Right.
clearly
Yeah.
that has to be it because they hopped
Duh.
the pond.
Literally. Quite literally on lily pads.
I just want to tell you, I felt so, I was like dumbfounded.
No. Did they make you feel dumb though?
No, they were
Uh,
very shocked at my ignorance. They were like, "Are are you joking?" Because I'm a jokester,
yeah,
and I was
right,
just like,
right.
"No." And they were like,
Okay.
"Oh no, you poor thing.
Oh, you
Let me teach you how the
let me
map
teach you.
works
Right,
and
right,
how to
right, right.
read." Right, and so it was so stupid.
Oh, man. It's so hard not to make people feel dumb in those moments.
Oh.
Like, even if you're
Especially when
not
it's something like that, where you're just like, "How do you not
you're
know
not
this?"
yeah, like, you're not trying to make them feel dumb. Like, your immediate response is just like, "Wait, is it a joke?" Especially with somebody like you, because you're
You have
joking
to
all the
be
time.
joking.
Like,
All right, tell me one that
um,
you have learned as an adult that you're just like,
alright.
"How did I not know?"
Probably the one that I'm just like that I was the most shocked by that I hadn't figured out on my own until somebody like brought it to my attention was the chicken crossing the road joke. Okay. So everybody knows the joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side? Ha 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 ha. Right. So to me, like when I heard the joke, it was more just like the joke was funny because it's just the obvious answer. Right? The obvious answer is he was just going to the other side. And then I realized it's like an existential joke. It's like he was committing suicide. He was trying to get to heaven, like to get to the other side. And then I was like, "Oh, it's a dark joke." Like I had
My
no
favorite
idea.
kind of joke.
Yeah, like I had no idea it was like a dark joke. Part of it might have been because I was just a kid when I heard it. I mean, you hear it when you were a kid all the time, right? Nobody's telling kids like suicide jokes, right? So
I mean, they
it
are.
I mean, clearly they are
Half
because
of
they
our
did.
nursery rhymes are about like
The
diseases
black
that you
the
can
black
catch,
plague and yeah,
smallpox. Like,
it's true. Um and then so that one just like blew my mind. I was like, wow, like how maybe I'm thinking too concretely. Maybe I need to expand my cognitive
you're
flexibility
so
here.
literal.
I'm so literal, yeah. And then the other thing I think that blew my mind was the kind of similar. I think two. I think you and I had talked about one of these two. I'll give you two more because I think these are interesting. Was the other one was the calendar is, and I know so obviously I know there's like time differences and like that's going to shift the day and things like that. But like there's literally people living in like different years than us. Like they're using like a whole different calendar to track their lives. Like not the calendar we use. And that just like blew my mind when I learned that. I was like, "What?" Like let me see all these calendars. So then I'm just like going on to a deep dive and looking at all these different countries like, well, what year are they living in and what is the time period? Like it was just so mind-blowing to me that which makes sense obviously. There's lots of people with their own traditions like how egocentric can we be? But I just remember being like mind blown that there's literally people living in a different year than we are and like the way they're calculating it, right? And then the other one was the leap year, right? Understanding why we have a leap year, which that took me a little while to figure out.
The day that clicked in my head, I was like, so obviously we learned about leap year in school,
Right,
but in like
right,
fourth grade, and like how much do you really understand is happening in fourth grade? So for
yeah,
me, that epiphany came to me. That same partner I was dating,
yeah,
he would read every night. He was
yeah,
reading me this book, When the Stars Fell from the Sky, I think is what it's called.
uh-huh,
And it's really interesting. It talks about a lot of different metaphors and how constellations were used to
mm-hmm,
know when to plant your crops and things like that, navigation, all the things.
yeah,
But it was literally like they figured out that the Earth's rotation was 365.4
yeah.
days. And then you just like kept reading, and then like my brain was like 0.4 or whatever.
You're stuck on
Anyway,
that
it was
decimal.
like 0.25. So whatever, it was
Yeah.
a quarter. Okay, I just said it wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a quarter. And I was like sitting there, and then I was like a quarter. Okay, so then in 4 years, that makes up 1 year. And then I was like, I literally was like, is that leap year? Is that why we have leap year?
Yeah.
And then as
Yeah.
I realized, like, brain, good job, but what the fuck? Like, how did you take it? It was like the slowest unfolding of thought that I ever had. He was like 2 paragraphs in, and I was like,
You got it.
oh my
Hey,
God.
what matters is you got
So
there,
stupid.
right? I think I didn't figure that out until um, we homeschooled the kids. They did their schooling, university model schooling, so they go teachers Tuesday, Thursdays, but we're doing a lot of work at home when they're in their like grade school years. And I remember having to read a lesson for one of their science courses, and we're reading through that, like, a full day is like 23 hours and some dot whatever seconds or whatever, and so you calculate that over the course, and I'm like, what? What do you mean it's not 20? Why do they tell us it's 24
Unfathomable.
hours? Yeah, like
How's the
they're
clock work?
again, it's like you have told me my whole life it's 24 hours and you have lied to me now.
Why didn't they just adjust the seconds interval so
Yeah.
that it's an even number? Like, why are we turning our world into fractions? It's so
I
crazy.
don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, leap
I'm
year is crazy.
yeah. Anyway, all of these things, continuing to learn has led to a lot of humility, right? It's like
I too have been humiliated a lot with
I
my
don't
learning.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll just be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody smarter
Here's
than
the
me
thing,
probably
it's not even
knows.
embarrassing to me anymore. It's just like, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I think that it was embarrassing when I was younger because I felt like there was this expectation that we're just supposed to know
Mm.
everything, right? And the
Mhm.
older I've gotten, I was like, the amount of information that we have at our fingertips now with technology,
Yeah.
who the hell has all of that memorized? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's so much to know. And the
Right.
fact that we would be surprised about anything just shows like how we've been conditioned to just
Mhm.
accept whatever, hide the fact that you don't know something,
Yeah.
you don't want to look stupid, fake it till you make it, all those things where you're
Right.
just like, or
Yeah.
just admit that we didn't know and
Or just say,
enjoy the
yeah.
learning process.
Mhm. Well, I think that's the problem, is we actually haven't been taught how to learn. Like, learning is being frustrated and feeling dumb and like feeling like you don't know the thing because you don't. That's why you're learning it. So we've just been taught, memorize this fact and then take a test. That's not learning.
Yeah.
That's just memorization. So I feel
Memorization is
like,
not learning. I hate
yeah,
that.
no. So we haven't been taught to really learn in our education system, unfortunately, which made it real difficult for me when I was going through my graduate school and doctorate program. Like, especially when you're getting your doctorate, you write a dissertation, and the dissertation basically is just like, it's like a hazing. It's like you have to write on a topic, right? Your research topic, and you have to do an entire review of all the literature basically on your topic. And it's a lot of literature. So you're trying to synthesize all of these articles into a cohesive message or, thesis. And I don't know how many times you will write something. I would write something. Everybody goes through this when they write a dissertation. You write something, you're proud of it. You're like, okay, I'm going to submit this to my committee. Your committee is 3 doctors who have their expertise in a field usually that's similar to what you're writing about, or a similar field. So I submit. I would have times where I would write like 5 to 10 pages, and half of it would be highlighted, and they would just say, delete it, right, you need to start over, this
I
doesn't make
remember
sense,
a
this
couple
is
crying phone
wrong.
calls from you where you're like, "Look at this. They literally just wiped out my whole chapter," or
Yeah, what
whatever.
do
I was
you
like,
mean?
"Oh."
Like, what do you mean? And what really, it's just, this is part of learning, right? Like, this is part of the deal here. Like, you are a researcher, and we want to make sure that you know how to read research, that you know how to think critically about it, that you can describe the methodology and, all these things. And I wasn't doing it right, and so I had to write it over and over and over and over again until I got it right. And that was frustrating, is exhausting. But I got really good. It did make me really good when I went into my practicum, my internship, my postdoc, to where I did have the capacity to take feedback a lot a lot easier, and I wasn't afraid to sound dumb. I was able to ask questions like that I might, early on I might have thought were dumb, But at that point, I was like, I don't know anything. I had to rewrite this thing 10 times. So here's here's my question. So yeah, I think learning how to fail well and not know things is the key to learning.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, let's get back on track here.
All right.
And I want you to talk to us about your story and how you got to where you are and all the things that make you you.
All right. Yeah, so I also am afraid of how I come across on the socials. So here we go. I'm going to just be um, lovingly authentic.
Mhm.
And when I say lovingly, I mean delivering my message, but trying to remain respectful to the people that are also a part of my story.
Mhm.
So I grew up here in Sierra Vista, was born and raised. And
where is Sierra Vista? Like what?
in Arizona,
Perfect.
Sierra Vista, Arizona. I was
Okay.
born on Fort Huachuca, actually, which is really
Mhm.
funny because I also worked on Fort Huachuca for a really long time. So I'd make a joke like that I hadn't made it very far in life because I could see the hospital I was born at
Where you
from
were
the
born,
building I
yeah.
worked in, like just
Yeah,
really like a mile.
right.
Um, Another fun thing where I hiked to the top of, we have a mountain range here, Car Peak. I
Mhm.
hiked to the top of that one time and I was staring off the top of the mountain and I was like, oh, there's where I was born. I lived here till I was, 2. I lived here till I was 5. Here's where, like, I could literally see my whole life from the top of that mountain. And it was very reflective for me, as in like how many people can see their entire life from the top of one mountain. I
Mhm.
felt very fortunate in that. And then also just like, I probably should travel more. I need to get out and have some adventures.
Yeah.
um yeah, so I was born here. To My mom was in the Air Force. She got pregnant with me, and then left my father while she was pregnant and
Mhm.
came back to Arizona. So I was born here. And when I was younger, till the age of 9, my mother was addicted to drugs.
Mhm.
That's not a secret. Everyone, I mean, she's very open with that part of her story as well. Meth, they called it crank back then, but she was very much into that scene
Mhm.
and was a singer in a bar. She has the most beautiful voice. My mother
Mhm.
always had just the most beautiful voice. And I was happy to see her being able to share that part of her with people. It made her feel alive, and she was just
Yeah.
fantastic. She was a very good entertainer.
Mhm.
Um,
You could see like her authentic self coming through her music
yeah,
and her
yeah. And she,
singing.
like I said, beautiful. I did not get that voice. So, but yeah, she has just a beautiful, beautiful voice.
Yeah.
And so when I was young, the little town that we lived in, I would walk to church um,
Mhm.
and go to Sunday school. When I was 9 years old, my mom decided to also go to church. So she came to church with me. It was an Easter Sunday. And then during that visit, she got called by the Lord to become a pastor. And so she gave up her meth and went all in on theology school. She got an associate's degree in theology and became the
Mhm.
pastor at her church. She was a music leader until she got her associates and then became an ordained pastor at our church. And so that's where things really started getting. You would have thought the interesting part would have been the drugs, but really it was once we started the church.
Listen,
Um,
okay, can I side note you here just a second?
yeah,
I was just gonna say church is wild, and I
it's bipolar disorder is also wild, so we'll get into into that as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Anyway,
um
go ahead, yeah.
yeah, so during that time while my mom was the pastor, she also then felt called to do missionary work. So we sold our house and all of our possessions, moved into a travel trailer, and we're waiting to be shipped to Mongolia for an undetermined amount of time. I don't know what was supposed to be happening. I think I was 11 or 12 at the time. And I was just like, where, again, not good at geography. I don't know where Mongolia is. All I was thinking about was this movie called Medicine Man. I don't know if you saw that, like
Mm,
Sean Connery, and like he goes into some jungle in like South America, and all the
yeah.
little native children didn't wear
Mhm.
clothes, and I was just like, I don't want to have to be naked in front of anyone. Like that was
Yeah.
my thought of what's about to happen with this missionary
Right.
work. Like,
Right.
I'm keeping my clothes on. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I'm
Oh my
bringing my
God.
American clothes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but fortunately, my parents ended up getting a divorce. There was some infidelity on my dad's part, and so he left us. And then the missionary team no longer was interested in having a broken family, so we did not have to go to Mongolia, which was
Mhm.
a dream come true for us. Um, but it did extend our time living in the travel trailer
Mm.
because now we
Unexpected.
had no home and
Yeah.
no income really. I mean, my dad was kind of the breadwinner at the time. He did have to pay child support, but it was just a weird situation. And so
Yeah.
um we ended up kind of moving into a house that one of our church members had. It was probably the worst place I've ever lived, honestly. The
Yeah.
bathroom floor, like, we fell through the floor when we moved in
Oh,
because it was just
no.
rotted, like, there had been a leak or something, and it's a
Yeah.
trailer, so it's a lifted up trailer,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
just like, and they were also kind of hoarders. I think it was just their, like, storage house. One
Mm.
room was, like, floor to ceiling newspapers.
Oh,
There were
wow.
baby diapers, and they hadn't lived in
Oh,
that house,
yeah.
dirty baby diapers in there. We
Oh
had
my
not lived
gosh.
in there
Yeah.
for years, and so it was just like, "What the fuck?" So it was a lot of just trying to, like, clean it up so that we could, like, live there
Mhm.
comfortably.
Right.
During that time, my mom married my stepdad. He was in the military at the time, and so that was kind
Mhm.
of a nice change for us. Um, but he also tried to, like, implement military lifestyle for us,
Mm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
"Okay, guys, you're gonna clean this bathroom every week, and you're gonna use turtle wax on the shower to make sure that it, like, doesn't get water stains," and we were like, "No, we're not doing
Yeah.
it."
No, sir.
"Know who
No,
you think
sir.
you are? Like, you just came into this family where you're not
Yeah.
our dad."
Right.
Um, so that was really interesting. I love my
Mhm.
stepdad is still here today, like, they're still happily married,
Mhm.
and he's a wonderful person, and I'm very grateful for him, but it was a bumpy road to start with because we were just like, "Who
I mean,
does this
yeah,
guy
as
think he is?" Like,
yeah,
we're
as it
14 and 12 or 14 and 11, like, me and my brother, I think we're almost 3 years apart, so
yeah.
we're just like, "No, we're not doing it.
Mhm.
You're not our dad. We're gonna be
Yeah.
respectful, but we're not doing this." So
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's like that with any step-parent coming in,
yeah,
it's
like
an
ironing
adjustment.
our clothes. I'm like, who the fuck irons? I don't even iron today. Like,
Yeah.
this is a waste of a chore. No. um, but when my dad left, it was really hard on me. Because he was kind of the stability. So my mom has later in life been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Mhm.
And I think recently she said she's now bipolar and some other something over the top of it, right? Either way,
Mhm.
she has some mental health
She
issues.
has some
And
mental
so
health, yeah.
with her bipolar disorder, what would happen is just periods of mania and periods of
Mhm.
depression.
Right.
And it's very confusing for children to navigate that. It's like today it's a dance party in the house, and then it's grumpiness or anger or sadness or like sleeping for long periods of time.
Mhm.
And so it was very hard to know how to act today because it's a different day and it could be a different
Mhm.
person in the house essentially.
Right.
And my mother's illegal drug addiction really just changed into a prescription drug addiction. And so she
Mm.
had, she was on all of the things that, we saw a lot of movie stars with the Oxycontin, Percocet,
Mhm.
Flexerol, all of these overdoses. And I don't know if this is true or not, but from my perception, I saw a lot of pharmacy shopping
Mm.
in my late teen years and early adulthood, where she would go to different doctors to get different prescriptions. She had one of those
Mhm.
books where she could read, ooh, what is this? What symptoms do I need to have to get this specific drug? And
Right.
so that was kind of hard. And the pharmacies have kind of cut down on that now too. I think
Mhm.
they all check each other a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yeah, they have a system
Um,
now. Yeah.
yeah, but so there was a lot of that just happening, and whether that's what she was doing or not, like I said, that's just totally what what I my perception is, having been in the
Mhm.
situation where she would go to multiple different doctors. And there was a day where I remember reading her prescriptions. She was out of town. I was feeding the dogs, and there was just all the like prescription things on the counter, and I was reading them, and it was like one was for insomnia, one was for narcolepsy, and I was just like, how does anyone function? Like, you
Yeah.
now have pills to counter the other pills.
Right.
And I think for me, that really kind of hardened that stigma of like, I don't want to be on any kind of medication. It
Mm.
also made me afraid, because I do know that there are a lot of mental health issues that are
Mhm.
genetic. And so I spent a lot of my young adulthood concerned that I may also have bipolar,
Mhm.
concerned that if whatever the thing is that I'm feeling is a symptom of a mental health issue, that I'm going to get diagnosed and have to go on to all
Mm.
of this medication. So I
Mhm.
spent a lot of time really hiding my true thoughts, my emotions, what I'm going through. I feel like I couldn't really talk to anybody about it.
Mhm.
Um, and so I just, because of my um, mother's condition growing up, I really just kind of became a people pleaser and put myself on the back burner. Like, I can't be true to myself, but what I can do is focus on what everyone else needs around me and make sure that that is met, right?
Mhm.
So putting myself second and prioritizing those around me helped me feel like I had some level of control, right? Again,
Mhm.
delusional, because I have no control
Yeah.
over everyone else's life, but
Right.
for me, it's the thing that I needed.
Mhm.
Um, and so right out of high school, I took the EMT course. I really wanted to help people. I actually wanted to be a police officer when I was growing up, just watching. Um, it's funny. It's funny because I've been told, like, you don't remember that, or I was a good
Mm.
parent, or I hid all of that from you guys.
Mhm.
Um, and that's not true. That's not the truth,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And even if I didn't see it, which I did, I have seen things, right? But even if I
Mhm.
hadn't seen it, you can feel it. The chaos in the house, the people in the house, just that energy of being around. You've all been somewhere in public or at someone's house where you can just feel the vibe. You know the people there are not good
Mhm.
intentioned, right? And it's all supposedly lighthearted, but you can feel the escalation of things, and you're just
Mhm.
like, somebody's going to get into a fight, something's going to happen. Like, just having that anxiety. And
Mhm.
for me, my desire to protect my brother from that, because he was younger than me. Like I said,
Mhm.
we're almost 3 years apart, uh 2 years and 9 months apart. And so I really wanted to make sure he was safe. And so that kind of got ingrained into me at a very young age. And so I wanted to become a police officer. So I took the EMT course directly out of high school, because my
Mhm.
job was going to be like, I'm going to go and I'm going to put these drug dealers in jail. Like, I'm over it. Like,
Yeah.
don't want to
Right.
see more families suffer like the way
Yeah.
that mine did. Um, but I ended up dating and marrying a police officer at the time. And so he did not think that that was going to be a good fit. He is very old fashioned,
Mhm.
religious as well. So there was the kind of that trad wife expectation, like you're going to be a stay-at-home mom. My
Mhm.
wife isn't going to be in law enforcement. It's not safe for her. And so I put, again, my desires on hold, because
Mhm.
before that I actually wanted to be a massage therapist, and I was told that that was just sex work, so I wasn't allowed to
Oh
do
god.
that. So I was like,
Oh,
well,
man.
that's okay. Don't want to get into that line of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so law enforcement was the next thing. I was like, all right, that's what I want to do. And so um, I ended up getting into 911 dispatching, which was like probably one of the most fulfilling jobs I ever had. And I did that for 6 years. Over the course of 9 years, I took a break off when my son was young to be a
Mhm.
stay-home mom with him. And between my EMT work as an emergency room technician and my work as a 911 dispatcher, I was also exposed, right? I'm 18 years old. I've had
Mhm.
this pretty large exposure to a lot of shit as a child. And
Mhm.
then working in the emergency room, you just see like people that have been beaten, and with a 15-year-old kid that got beaten up from a gang fight, and he got
Mhm.
punched in the eye, and someone had a key like between their fingers and keyed him and like punctured
In the
his
eye.
eye. Things like
Yeah.
that where you're just like, what is wrong with the world? Like, what is wrong with
Mhm.
these people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we being violent to one another? Like, it just all was heartbreaking to me.
Mhm.
Being on the other end of those 911 calls, listening to people in distress, crying and begging for help,
Mhm.
and being helpless, kind of sitting there, right? Like we had what is within our power, right? We can
Yeah.
send an officer, and my job there is to just be that calming presence, right? Holding space
Mhm.
for them. I think that's really where I learned. We didn't call it holding space back then,
Mhm.
um, but that's really what it is
Yeah.
being
You're
able to sit
creating
with people
yeah. Mhm.
and create a safe environment for them while they're waiting for that rescue to happen, right? Whatever
Yeah.
the thing is that's going to come. And I really loved that work, but it did not pay me well.
Mhm.
And so I had to kind of move on. And so I've moved into, government contracting and a bunch of other really boring things, but I've always had this calling or desire or drive to help people.
Mhm.
And going through my therapy journey, I was just like, am I trying to help people because that's what I want to do? Or is it because that's what I've been trained to do as a child? Is just be that caregiver, be on the lookout? Is it just my hypervigilance from, I don't want to use the word trauma, but childhood trauma that
Yeah.
is making me want to be in that role? Or is it something else? Right. And so
Mhm.
um, we will never know, really, right? It could be both. It could be one or the
Mhm.
other. It could be both. We don't know. And we don't have to
Yeah.
have an answer. And so
Mhm.
I feel like um, we all spend a lot of our time trying to find the black and the white. What is the definite reason for this? And there's a lot of times we're not going to have that answer. And so how do we
Mhm.
come to peace with the fact that, sure, maybe if I had had a completely different life, I still would be the person that I am today. Did my life shape me? Did it have an influence on who I am? Like probably. I can't see why it didn't.
Mhm.
Um, but my core values and my core desires for people, maybe they would have been the same if I was raised in by a rich family who
Yeah.
loved us and wanted, all these
Yeah.
things. So
Right.
that's been a journey for me, is just kind of working through um a lot of those thoughts, feelings, experiences, and trying to make sense of them in a way that allows me to no longer make myself small, right? I want to take ownership
Mhm.
of my life. Like I said, people pleasing has been something I've done forever, where I just put myself second and make sure everyone else has everything that they need. And
Mhm.
really, that's landed me in a position where I was completely unfulfilled. I was super depressed. I hated my job. I
Mhm.
could not there's no way I would have lasted another 15 years there. Like, it's just, I was like, I'm on a hamster wheel. It's the worst. I'm
Yeah.
tired. It's not rewarding. It's not what I want to do. Like, trying to make the best of a crappy situation is absolutely something that I am good at, but I
Mhm.
shouldn't have to do that. Like, and then I'm just like, yeah, but you don't have to do that. I'm an
Mhm.
adult now and I have autonomy. I can make my own decisions and I don't have to do something I don't want to do. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
forced into this anymore. And so learning to just, like, again, take ownership of myself, make those decisions, be able to quit something and make that, not label myself as a failure, has
Right.
been really profound for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
How
yeah.
long, your last place of employment where you said you were in a spot, you just weren't happy, you were just you knew you weren't happy, and, in the last episode, we talked a little bit about, like, um, knowing when to change your mind, knowing how to change your mind, knowing when it's time to leave. Can you kinda walk us through that process for you of, like, how long did you wait? How long did you, like, try to work it out? How did you
Forever. You know
what were
this
the
about me, though.
I know, but, they
Yeah.
don't know. So, like, for me, like, my temperament is, like, very much the opposite of you in this way, where I'm like, "I'm not gonna stay anywhere I'm not happy." Like, I have low frustration tolerance, very low. And so, like, my instinct, is, you know, a lot of times I probably should stay a little bit longer and try to work it out. And that's where more some of my work is like building capacity to maybe try to make a situation work. There's possibility for change there, and maybe I leave too soon. But for you, it's the opposite, where it's like maybe you're spending too much time, too much energy there, and trying to figure out when is a good time to leave. So I'm curious what your perspective is like in terms of how did you decide when to leave, and how long did you try to make
Well,
this thing work?
I decided to leave when you were like, "You're not being impulsive." So part of my biggest fear of life, right, which is
Yeah.
I don't want to have bipolar. Like,
Mhm.
that had literally consumed me. I don't want to have, like, and even if I did,
Mhm.
like, I would just get help. Like, I am not the kind of person that's going to try to raw dog it, I guess, but
Yeah.
maybe I
Yeah.
am. Now that I just said that, I went for many years in my young adulthood thinking I might have it and refusing to go get help because I
And
didn't want the
refusing to get
diagnosis, because I didn't want the stigma attached to it. So maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. All right, maybe I need to think about that
all
later.
right, we're gonna
So
notate that for later.
what happens with me is, because of, and I think part of this is just part the way I was raised, right? With
Mhm.
this kind of emotional irregulation happening all of the time, every day could be different.
Mhm.
Um, I tend to take a very long time before I make
Mhm.
decisions.
Mhm.
To divorce my ex-husband, even after infidelity, um, was almost a year
Mhm.
of us not living. It was a lot of time.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, I don't want to make a decision based off of emotion. I
Mhm.
need to really analyze what's happening and make sure that I'm not gaslighting myself. Because I have a tendency, again, I think we talked about this in the last episode, I will downplay an experience as a joke and put myself to it, really just like, no, it's not even just self-deprecation, but it's like I'll excuse my own hurt to make sure that somebody else feels better about a
Mhm.
situation. And so I sacrifice my own self-worth in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. And I did not want to do that. Part of my goal had been, um, I want to make sure that I'm not being impulsive. I want to make sure that I'm not making this decision out of an emotional backlash,
Mhm.
right? I'm not doing it because I'm angry about this affair. I'm doing it because this incident has highlighted a bunch of really bad patterns that I
Mhm.
don't want my child to be continuously exposed to, right? This is not going
Right.
to be a good path forward for me, and I don't
Mhm.
want that for my child. And
Right.
so that was very easy. When it came to this job, I would go kind of back and forth because I could find, again, golden nuggets of things that would bring me joy during the day. I was like, this job is terrible. How can I make it more enjoyable for myself? I'm going to start doing training things.
Mhm.
So I actually started kind of a podcast style training where I would, teach people how to use the system and walk them through things. And that was enjoyable for me. Connecting with the customers, because I worked on a help desk for an Army
Mhm.
system. And so I had over 8,000 customers across the Army, helping the soldiers, helping these, civilians or contractors be able to do their job was fulfilling to me.
Mhm.
The environment, the mission, the leadership, not on board with any of that.
Mhm.
And so kind of weighing out, why am I here? Is this sustainable for me long term? Can I continue to gaslight myself into enjoying this job for another 15 years, right?
Mhm.
Am I making this decision impulsively? I had a big fear around impulsivity
Mhm.
and what the implications of that mean. And so I know I was at your house actually, and I was just like, and then I did this, and then I did this. And you're like, you've literally been doing research for,
A
13
year.
months or whatever. It was like so
Yeah.
long. Like, that is not impulsive. And I was like, oh, but it feels impulsive.
Mhm.
But I think the fear was less of the impulsiveness and more of the fear of change. I knew I was going to have to change, and I knew that was scary. And we hit on that a little bit last week too, or the
Mhm.
last episode was, I'm making a huge decision to change my life in a completely different direction, and that is terrifying.
Mhm.
But it's what I need to do for myself, for my mental health, for my future. Like, I have to invest in me, and that is scary because
Mhm.
like I said, I was not raised by in a family that supported education, for one.
Mhm.
It was like, yeah, you could probably take some community college classes if you wanted to, right? Or,
Right.
but just get out of school because you're not, that's not for you. You're going to always I was a C student in every grade, every grade that I went to. Um,
Yeah.
turns out as I've aged, like ADHD, I'm pretty sure I have dyslexia.
Yeah.
Um,
For
I
sure.
was I was in, they called it resource. Cause like, I don't know, I was too stupid to be with the other kids in,
Oh gosh.
kindergarten through third grade. So I had to go to resource, which is like, we're going to teach you how to read, because my reading
Mhm.
comprehension was terrible. And so I kind of just carried that with me of like, I don't have good reading comprehension because I'm not that smart. And
Mm.
my brother was like a walking genius. In sixth grade, he tested post high school. We had the Iowa test, I think is what it was called.
Mhm.
He tested post high school in the sixth grade for every subject. And I was lucky if I tested into the grade I was in. It was like
I feel
fourth, fifth,
like
and sixth, right? I'm like,
see, I
I'm
feel like
sixth
I
in
was
math. I'm so smart.
I feel like I was that annoying smart sibling. I feel like everybody has the annoyingly smart sibling, you
Well,
know?
yeah. And then you're just compared to them. And so there was a lot
Yeah.
of comparison. It's like, your brother can do it. And it's
Mhm.
like, cool, good for him. Right.
Yeah.
And then trying not to be resentful with that as well. He was um,
Mm.
the doted on child.
Mhm.
He got all of the accolades. He got great grades without even trying. I remember he wrote this report in sixth grade on Jack the Ripper. He got like a B on it, right? And then
Yeah.
I took that report, copied it because it's handwritten. I just rewrote
Yeah.
it word for word
Yeah.
and turned it in high school. And I got an A because it was the best work they'd ever seen me do. And I was just like, yes. And he was like, what the fuck? I barely got a B on that. And I was like, well, because you clearly weren't trying that hard. Like, I was so proud of myself. No, and then I didn't even do it. And then I was like, I can't even like really celebrate this grade because it's a
Yeah.
lie anyway. Like, I didn't even earn
Right.
it. So that didn't really help my self-esteem either. I was just like,
Yeah.
the only time I'm going to
Yeah.
get a good grade is when I plagiarize my brother's work.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
but overcoming all of that, just complete low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and people pleasing. So
Mhm.
coming into who I am today, I say this a lot. I'm trying to learn to love myself the way that I love others. I
Mhm.
am doing a lot of reflective thinking. Like, does this thought serve me now? What is it that I'm
Mhm.
trying, what am I getting out of this? Um, Trying to retrain my brain for who I want to be rather than carry the lies that I've been telling myself or that I was told growing up, and quit internalizing all of those things. Um, because we all do change. And I recognize I'm not the same person I was when I was 9 or 12 or 16 or
Mhm.
25. We've all come a long way on our journey, and I should not be carrying um, the weight of those experiences with me now. Like,
Mhm.
it does not serve me. It doesn't suit me. If anything, it's weighing me down. I think I don't know if I saw on TikTok, I'm pretty sure it's a pretty common analogy, but you're carrying a backpack full of
Mhm.
all of that hurt and trauma, right? Or it's rocks, and you're
Yeah.
just carrying them with you all the time. And the more you can get rid of that stuff,
Mhm.
the lighter you become on your journey. And it
Yeah.
also gives us opportunity to pick up new stuff. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't want a backpack full of rocks. Maybe I want a backpack full of
Yeah. Birds.
diamonds, bird stuff. But you don't want to carry I joke with my memory, like, I don't waste time saving memory space on things that I can Google. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I want
Yeah.
my memory to be fun adventures that I've done, not trivia knowledge. Although there's a lot in there. That's
Yeah.
not what I pride myself on. So
So this is, this change of leaving your career, moving into a new career, stepping into a version of yourself that you are choosing, how has that adjustment been for you?
stressful,
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been how it's been how many months now since you left, your other job?
So 6 months.
6 months. Okay, so we've had 6 months of kind of this new, like, I like that you said brain training, because that's really what it is it's adding new wiring, like creating new neural connections that allow you to be comfortable in this new self or this new way of living. So you've had 6 months to kind of wire some of these new behaviors and some of these new ways of experiencing yourself. Do you feel like, I mean, obviously this is a path, it's a process, but I'm curious, if you look back 6 months ago and you look at yourself today, how do you experience that?
So I think that the beginning of it was my decision to leave my job and pursue a career that I may or may not make a living at. It seems
Mhm.
irresponsible, right?
Mm. Mhm.
um, Even though, which we both have discussed, that was delusional, right? Because I was like, I have enough money in savings, I have the time to do it. Like, there's all these things that
Mhm.
have been set in motion for this to be the most optimal time for me to do self
Literally.
exploration and
Yes.
figure out what direction I want to go in a safe environment where I'm not going to be destitute, I'm not going to be
Mhm.
homeless, I'm not going to be hungry. Like, I am okay.
Mhm.
But to not go to a job, like, the first month, I think I stayed pretty busy. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think I left the end of April. So May, I came to visit you. Um, Graham and I took a vacation, and then I came
Mhm.
back, and I was just like in a waiting game. And that's when the real
Mhm.
anxiety happened for me, because I was just sitting around all day long, waiting and
Mhm.
waiting for something, like waiting for school to start, waiting, to figure out what I'm doing. And then I started school. It was 2 weeks, and then I went on a 3 week break, and I was like, oh my god, kill me. Like, I
Yeah.
cannot sit around. That gives
Mhm.
me kind of impending doom, and it just added to the feeling that this is totally irresponsible. It was kind of just
Yeah.
a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, at that point, because I was just like, I
Yeah.
knew this was a bad idea, and now
Right.
look. you know
Right. Yeah.
but then again, it had to be a mind shift change of like, maybe this is the time I need to not be busy, to calm myself, reset my nervous system. I didn't realize how poor my sleep had been for so long until I started sleeping.
Mhm.
Like this, I went to sleep about 10:30 last night. I didn't wake up till after 7 this morning, and that's like
Mhm.
unheard of for me. And
Yeah.
so I think that as I am mentally learning these new patterns and behaviors, my nervous system is also
Yeah.
unraveling, and
It's
I'm
kind
hopeful
of
that one day I'll be able to take a nap. So that's my goal.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Yes,
we can
I
calm
love
down
that.
enough to just take a nap.
Yes. Yeah, I think I think that's so important. Um, we don't have a nervous system. We are a nervous system, right? And so much of our behavior is dictated by those nervous system responses, the discomfort. That's what emotions are. It's just a nervous system response, and then we give it a name, we give it a narrative. And for you, you're having this nervous system response where you don't have anything to distract you or keep you busy, and so all you have is to sit with that feeling, and that's the work, right?
Oh,
The
it
work.
is literally the worst.
uh and it can get to the point where it does flood the everything. It feels consuming, all consuming, to where you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't watch a movie. Like, it's just so overwhelming, and slowly over time you start to build capacity to hold that discomfort of making a choice, a different choice, doing something new, having uncertainty. It's really the feeling that comes from uncertainty. And so you and I like to joke a lot of times about you being a Capricorn and being really good at mapping things out and spreadsheeting things. And so it was really funny for me because on my end, I'm observing you go through this process, right, of making this decision. And I am seeing the number of spreadsheets, pros and cons. Like,
I'm very
you know,
analytical. I'm like, let's
I
get all the information out now.
I'm seeing like slide decks, like whatever it is, like here's my whole life mapped out, right? Um, I'm seeing like all of these safety nets that you literally have erected around this decision. Like, there's not just one safety net, there's just like multiple safety nets. And then, but what you're actually telling me is like, I don't want to be impulsive. And I'm like, impulsive is like jumping off the cliff without the safety net. Like, that's impulsive. You've erected like 10 of them already, and so that was just kind of a I think I had a fun in that experience with you, because I could tell in that moment when I was like, how are we defining impulsive? Like,
Oh,
what
that's a
is
fun
your
thing too. I think we talked about that in another episode where it's like, let me look at the dictionary. Maybe I've been carrying a meaning of a word that isn't actually the meaning either. So yeah, I think we actually went to the dictionary on that. I think I was like, let me Google it.
Yeah,
Right? Like, what does it mean to be impulsive?
right. Because based on what I
Yeah.
was seeing, like, I was like, I have no idea what your definition of impulsive is, because this is not tracking with what I know impulsive to be.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool to get to walk with you during that process, and like listen to you kind of come to a recognition of like, I just don't want to be impulsive. Like, I remember when those words came out of your mouth, it was like you've been kind of holding that feeling of I don't want to be impulsive, but then like once you said it, it was like we could actually investigate it. Like, we could actually look at it and be
You
like,
were literally like, seriously? No.
that's probably exactly how
You were
I
like, Google
responded.
the definition of impulsive. You're an idiot. No, no, you were so good. These are like
Uh,
reasons why I'm your friend. Because sorry, I'm not getting super. It's this stupid stool.
it's okay.
The stool is impulsively making me want to like,
Yeah.
whoo.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Um, those moments where I can be like, I can't do that because then I'll have bipolar, and you're like, "You don't fucking have bipolar. I'm telling you right now, I'm a doctor. You don't have it." And I'm like, "Are you sure? You barely passed your test." No, I'm just kidding. But
I feel like it's probably hard to believe I'm a doctor once you know if you only know me on a personal level.
no, I have like for sure she's a doctor. From day one, I'm like, this bitch has this stubbornness, like she's for sure gonna be a doctor.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
but
so funny. But
I think that again, having people in your life that you can trust to have those kind of conversations with that
hmm
will be honest with you. Like when I said, I feel like I'm being impulsive, you could have just been like, oh, yeah, that's, you
hmm
could, maybe you are or whatever. You could have just agreed
hmm
with my analysis to
right.
reassure me. But instead, you literally just called me out on my dictionary knowledge, which is right
Yeah.
next to my geography knowledge. It's like, I don't know. I just use the word all the time and it
Y-
feels negative. So I'm
Yeah,
not going to do that. Right.
yeah,
But I appreciated it. Yeah. And so here I
yeah.
am, jobless and full-time
Hey,
student. So
hey, you're
making it.
not. I mean, you're a student. So, that's kind of par for the course for being a student is just being poor. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the club. I'm excited I get to go out there in October, the first week in October. We're gonna get to do an episode in person together, which
Yes.
is gonna be a lot of fun, and to get a massage. So
Yes.
I'll get to see how you're doing. I'll get to
Okay.
give you some
I was
feedback about if this
I'm
was a
gonna tell
terrible
you.
decision or
Yeah, I'm
not.
gonna tell you this thing though. No, I'm actually not gonna tell you. I'm gonna let it be a surprise.
No, you can't. You
You
can't.
like surprises. I'm gonna give you a surprise.
I don't know if I like surprises
Well, you're
now.
gonna like this one.
It's like how many weeks before I come into town? I'm just gonna be like
It's a couple.
ruminating about
Yeah, you'll be fine.
this thing. Yeah.
No,
So
okay, I'll tell
I'm
you.
actually. Oh my.
I told Graham I was gonna give you a really bad massage,
Oh, I would tell
but like,
you.
sell it to you like it was good. Like I tried my hardest and see what your feedback would be.
If I was honest, I would be honest in the most gentlest of ways. I would.
I believe you. I was like, I can't wait to hear what she's gonna say. I'm gonna make it like the most
Oh
disjointed. I'll
man.
like purposefully not respond to feedback. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then I was like,
I
"But then I'll give her a real one, so she'll know." But
Yeah, so I'll actually know. Yeah. Well, remember how earlier I said have low frustration tolerance for like
oh, I
discomfort,
know.
like any bad. I would literally just be like, "No, stop! You're fucking with me. There
I
is no
also know all
way
your
that you're
ticklish
this bad."
spots, so I would like purposefully be like,
No, 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 no. Yeah, I would for sure give you like 0 stars
"I'm
on
not really
Yelp.
gonna do it." I just thought it would be funny. I told Graham, I was like, "Oh my god, what if I just give her the worst massage she's ever
Oh
had?
man.
See
Yeah,
what
I
she
know.
says."
I would know immediately what you were doing.
I
I would
know.
be
I
like,
can't. Well, and that's the thing. I was like, oh, I can't actually bring myself to do it because I don't like doing anything that I feel like is a waste of my time.
yeah.
I feel like it would have been good for like the joke, but I wouldn't have lasted the whole hour. I would have got like 2 minutes in and
Oh
be
yeah.
like, just kidding. There's no
Just
way I can't do it.
Just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
In a
mean, that would
perfect
be
world, though, I would have given you a 1 hour terrible massage that you would have suffered through. And then I would have been like, okay, how was it? And you'd be like, you need
See,
to drop
no,
out of school, bestie. You're
that
terrible.
that's where you're wrong though, is I would not suffer
Wouldn't
through an
laugh. I
hour.
know.
I wouldn't. I would literally be like 5 minutes in, I'd be like, is there somebody else here that knows how to give a
Or can we
massage?
switch? Yeah.
I love you, but we might have to come back to the table and figure out a different
We're
plan.
gonna need to reassess some career options for you.
Yeah. Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Oh, man. Well, I am, like, just so proud of you, and I know, compliments make you
Save those words until
uncomfortable.
after you get a massage.
Uh, no, I think it's hard to leave, safety and predictability, and, you did it. A lot of people don't, and I'm proud of you. So I hope you're proud of yourself. I know
Thanks.
you are, but I'm proud
Thanks,
of you, so
bestie.
yeah, yeah. So
All
anyway,
right. That's a good end note.
I think that is a good end note. So I guess we'll talk to our listeners and our viewers next week.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Love you.